Hello, friends, and welcome back to Reality Recap, where we dig deeper than everyone else into the complicated universe of the Brown family. If you've been with us through the long run, thanks for being here again. And if you are completely new, you've arrived at the right moment, because today we're going to dive into the most in-depth analysis of the Season 20 trailer that you'll find anywhere online. This one's a biggie, so just before we get started, do me a little favor. If you like these in-depth analyses, go ahead and give that like button a click. It lets YouTube know we're the real deal. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because believe me, you don't want to miss a single second of the chaos that is about to ensue. Okay, let's dive in. We've divided this analysis into 5 chapters, each addressing a different aspect of this new explosive season. Chapter 1, Family Divided: The Anatomy of Kody's Failed Apology Tour. In order to understand where we are today, we have to take a step back and look at how we've gotten here. And at the heart of it all, so to speak, is one man, Kody Brown. For years, Cody was the undisputed leader of the family. He was the patriarch, the leader, the sun around which his 4 wives, like planets, were supposed to revolve. But the past few seasons have seen that gravitational pull diminish. 3 of those planets have gone into orbit, forging their own paths and creating their own galaxies. What we're seeing in the trailer isn't a strong leader but a man lost at sea. The Kody Brown of Season 20 is a world away from Season 1's swaggering patriarch. He is a king with no kingdom, a leader with no subjects, mired in a haze of desperation and incredulity. His strategy, a nationwide apology tour. But the reality is, this venture is doomed from the start. Consider his initial statement. "I would love healing." Observe the words. They're passive. They're aspirational. He is not stating, "I am going to do the hard work necessary to effect healing," or "I take responsibility for the pain I inflicted, and I am determined to make it right instead." He is allowing the burden to shift to some nebulous, mystical concept of healing instead of accepting his responsibility. And that is precisely why his apology tour is going to fail. For years, the women complained, and for years Cody dodged, denied, and gaslit them. He dismissed Christine's suffering in the marriage. He minimized Janelle's worries about money and her children's welfare. He left Meri emotionally discarded for more than a decade. Now, when the empire has fallen, suddenly he needs to heal. But the women that he is calling on are not the same women who patiently endured his half measures. They've evolved, he hasn't. With all of my heart, on the surface it sounds sincere, doesn't it? But context is everything. A genuine apology is never just about words, it is about acknowledging the hurt you've inflicted. And judging by Kody's actions in previous seasons and the tell-alls, there is not much evidence he understands how deep the hurt is that he has inflicted. His words sound less like apology and more like a desperate struggle to regain mastery over the tale, and maybe even over the women themselves. What Cody is missing isn't the love or the functional relationships. He is missing the structure, the authority, the validation of being the head of a big plural family. He wants to be king again. But the former queens of his home, they aren't playing along. Let's take their reactions one by one because each rejection has a story to tell. First on our list is Christine the Maverick, the woman who pulled the trigger that toppled the kingdom's walls. Her departure has been one of the most compelling narratives of reality television. We saw her beg for intimacy, for respect, for an actual family setup in Flagstaff. We witnessed her dejected when Cody rejected her dream of going back to Utah, and we all recall that infamous moment when he confessed he wasn't attracted to her anymore and didn't desire a full marriage. Christine's departure was not impulsive. It was a lengthy, agonizing process, years in the making. She did the work: therapy, introspection, and finally, finding her voice. Now she is doing great, remarried to a man who freely adores her in a manner that Cody never did. So when Cody appears seeking healing, Christine's response is firm, absolute, and unchanging. That noise you hear? It is not merely a door shut. It is a door bolted, locked, and sealed up tight. No, I need time, or maybe later. It is ever again. This is a woman who has created for herself a peace, and she knows Kody Brown menaces that peace. For Christine, allowing him back in isn't reconciliation, it is regression. Her rejection is not a mere no. It is a survival act. Christine is protecting the new kingdom she has established for herself. And in this kingdom, Cody is forever banned. Then there is Janelle. If Christine was the heart of the family, then Janelle was always its practical spine. She was Cody's buddy, his business partner, the one who remained low-maintenance and self-reliant. Theirs was a connection that appeared less romantic and more about aspirations and respect. At least, that is what we perceived. The last few seasons tore away that picture, revealing how unstable their relationship actually was. We've witnessed Cody's open disrespect towards her and their kids during the pandemic. We've seen the explosive yelling fight that concluded with him walking out, a moment that seemed to be the real point of no return. But Janelle's awakening wasn't romantic, like Christine's for her. It came down to utter disrespect and real partnership. She understood she'd married a CEO who was driving the company into the ground and excusing himself from the blame. So when she turned down Cody's healing tour, it was in signature Janelle fashion, logical, clear, and absolutely final. "We'll never be friends." That one line lands harder than Christine's. Why? Because friendship was supposed to be the very foundation of their relationship. They were always buddies. For Janelle to sever even that connection is to declare that their 30-year partnership was either built on a lie or shattered beyond repair. She's not just shutting the door on romance, she's shutting it on every future possibility. It is like she is selling off her emotional equity from a bankrupt business deal. Her words show us that Cody's infidelity, particularly against her sons, was so profound that it erased 3 decades of history. The bridge between them wasn't just torched. The ground that it stood on has been salted. And then there is Meri. Oh, Meri, of all the trips, hers has been the most convoluted, and for many in the audience, the most infuriating. For over a decade now, she has been an outsider within her own family. Following the catfishing scandal, Cody employed it as the final excuse to block her off emotionally and physically. We watched him repeatedly turn her down, even telling the cameras that the spark had disappeared, that there would never again be a true marriage between them. But even with all of that, Meri remained. She held on to hope. She clung to the smallest possibility that one day Cody would change his ways, see her, appreciate her, and reclaim her. Her devotion in the face of such pervasive abandonment was both heartbreaking and confounding to witness. And that is precisely why her line in this trailer is so historic. This is the voice of a woman who has, at long last, finally released the rope. The Taylor Swift reference is legendary, but it is the gravity of what she is saying that counts. This isn't a flash of feeling, it is a proclamation of liberty. After all these years of sitting next to a dying ember, hoping for a spark of heat from Cody, she is walking away and igniting her own flame. This is the culmination of more than a decade of misery. Meri has finally come to terms with what Christine and Janelle learned sooner, that the man she married is gone, and what is left is not a man she desires. Her rejection is the final nail in the coffin of the original Brown family. With Meri's declaration, the last shred of the family that began in Lehi, Utah, is officially dead and buried, which is Cody's apology tour, an absolute debacle. He is extending olive branches to women who've already established their own successful olive groves miles down the road. This family isn't just split up anymore, it has been entirely reconfigured into distinct sovereign nations, and none of them are even bothering to give their former king a diplomatic visit. Chapter 2, the ex-wives move on, forging new empires out of the ashes. As Cody holds on to the past, desperately trying to rebuild the broken pieces of his crown, the ex-wives who walked away aren't merely getting by, they're flourishing. This season is going to be a masterclass in post-divorce empowerment, with every ex-wife forging her own destiny, all on her own terms. It is the emergence of phoenixes out of the ashes of a crumbling patriarchy. We start with Christine, whose makeover has been the most visible and the happiest. She didn't just leave Cody behind. She dove headlong into a life that is everything her previous one was not. Her marriage to David Woolley isn't some rebound affair. It appears to be the real thing, a union brimming with love and equality. The comparison is dramatic. With Cody, Christine was constantly made to miniaturize, to battle perpetually for crumbs of attention and love. With David, she radiates. She is goofy. She is boisterous. She is effervescent. And David, he is there right with her, laughing alongside her, loving her for precisely what she is. But this new page has its own set of complexities. The trailer presents us with one of the most bizarre, surreal scenes ever. What in the world is happening here? You have David's perfectly sane reaction. No way do I want to socialize with my wife's scheming ex-husband. That is a perfectly understandable reaction. But then, what do we see them, together, wearing helmets, ready to drive cars? This one moment captures, in a nutshell, the bizarre, untidy, and altogether uncharted territory this family is in. How do you co-parent and even co-grandparent when the past between you is this poisonous? How do you construct a new marriage when the specter of the first one is still strutting its stuff as a mainstay on your reality show? Christine is walking the tight wire between her hurt past and her happy future, and it appears as if it is going to be awkward and interesting to observe unfold. David, on the other hand, has been catapulted headfirst into television's most dysfunctional family dynamic, and his adaptation as the new guy will be a central arc. Christine has her king castle happiness. Now her task is learning how to prevent the dragon of her former existence from burning it all to the ground. Janelle's freedom becoming the CEO of her own life. Janelle's path isn't about chasing romance, it's about reclamation, reclaiming her independence, her finances, and her identity apart from the Brown family collective. For years, she was one of the primary breadwinners alongside Meri and Christine. She poured her money, her time, and her energy into a shared family fund, one that, as we've since learned, wasn't exactly handled fairly. This year, her narrative is one of extricating herself from that money web and building a future that belongs to her and her kids alone. A future she has control over. Pursuing a spiritual divorce makes this all the more symbolic. In their fundamentalist religion, a spiritual sealing is supposed to endure forever. By attempting to legally sever that tie, Janelle is making a seismic claim. She is not just splitting from Cody in this existence. She is cutting loose for the next. It is freedom on all fronts. While Christine has expressed interest in remarrying, Janelle doesn't seem interested in settling down with someone new. She is finding satisfaction in her children, her grandchildren, and the autonomy she has created for herself. Her RV adventure, which Cody publicly ridiculed, was not just a place to live. It was a symbol for her whole journey. She is free, moving. She is independent. She is in control. Seeing Janelle, the soft-spoken dynamo, finally assert herself and take what is hers monetarily and emotionally is going to be one of the richest payoffs of this season. She is not the quiet partner in Cody's busyness anymore. She is the CEO of Janelle Brown. Ink and business is booming. And that leads us back around to Meri. Her future is arguably the least secure, and that is precisely why it might be the most interesting to see. For 30 years, who she was as a person was inextricably linked with being Cody's first wife. Even when their marriage was essentially dead, she held on to the title. But now she is left wondering the fearsome question, who is Meri Brown without Cody? This season, it looks like we'll find out. The trailer shows her dipping back into the dating world, and let's be real. It's awkward, it's cringeworthy, but it's also incredibly brave. Imagine spending your entire adult life in a marriage, even a broken one, only to suddenly be thrust into the world of dating apps and speed dating. Terrifying doesn't even begin to cover it. Meri's journey isn't going to be a fairy tale like Christine's. It's going to be messy, full of stumbles and false starts. But that's exactly what makes it authentic. We'll be watching a woman in her 50s rediscover herself after decades of emotional neglect. She'll be building new friendships, pouring herself into her business with Lizzie's heritage in, and figuring out what she truly wants in a partner and in life. Her tale is less one of finding a man and more about uncovering herself. With years of being typecast as the family's tragedy figure, this might be the season that sees Meri become her own hero. The contrast couldn't be greater. While Cody mourns the collapse of his old life, his former wives are barreling into their futures. They're demonstrating that even when one narrative ends, even agonizingly another is unfolding, and their new stories already are more powerful than the volume they abandoned. Welcome back, team, to part 2 of our deep dive into the Sister Wives Season 20 trailer. In the first half, we explained the ultimate, definitive rejection of Cody by his former wives and toasted their new journeys of independence and empowerment. We witnessed Christine fall in love, Janelle assert freedom, and Meri call on courage. But now, it is time to turn the attention to the very epicenter of this earthquake. The two remaining figures amidst the ruin of the Brown family empire, Kody and Robyn. So what happens when the reality they built over a decade catches up to them? What really is life like within their now monogamous fortress? Let's be real, it is not the fantasy they maybe dreamed of. Chapter 3: Cody and Robyn's reality life inside the monogamous fortress. For years, a lot of the fanbase, and come on Christine, Janelle, and Meri, as well assumed that Cody and Robyn's ultimate endgame was always going to be monogamy. The narrative went that Robyn joined the family and, quietly but methodically, inserted herself as the de facto head wife, taking Cody's time, his money, his attention, and leaving the other wives with leftovers. Well, here it is, they got exactly what they wanted. The other wives are gone, the competition is gone. Now, it's just Kody, Robyn, and their children in their $1,000,000 home. This should be their victory lap, the happily ever after they'd been working toward for over a decade. But notice how their faces look in the trailer. Do they seem like winners? Are they happy? What you see isn't victory, it is suffering. Two individuals who received exactly what they wanted, only to learn that it is nothing more than a gilded cage. Which leads us to an intriguing theory regarding their dynamic. Did Cody and Robyn's relationship flourish, not despite polygamy, but because of it? Consider this: Robyn's whole place in the family was founded on being the favorite. The one that Cody loved most. That favoritism afforded her status, validation, and authority. And Cody, he lived for being the center of attention, the guy 4 women competed for. The drama, the jealousy, the non-stop juggling, it all filled his ego cup. Now, all that is behind her. Robyn isn't the beloved wife anymore, she is the sole wife. There is no one to rival her, no quieter triumphs to enjoy. She is just a wife. And Cody, he is not the charming polygamous patriarch anymore. He is just a husband. The big stage he preened on for decades has been taken away, and he is left with a quiet home life he seems completely unable to manage. They resemble 2 victor generals who had fought their war, only to discover that they were miserable and restless during times of peace. War had been the cement that held them together, and once war is lost, the fissures in their own foundation are irreparable. Robyn's cracks begin to show the mourning of a queen. Robyn's tears have been a series staple, but the ones in this trailer, they're different. Her crying in the past always seemed performative, something she did to be the victim and control Cody. This time, though, the sadness feels real. But what is she grieving, exactly? The large plural happy family she claims she always wanted, or losing her special status as the favorite wife? Perhaps it is the dawning understanding that she alone must now be responsible for keeping Cody happy, a duty once shared by 4 women. The burden on her must be crushing. Every attitude, every irritation, every budget concern Cody bore previously falls squarely on her shoulders. The buffer has been removed, she is entirely vulnerable. And on top of that, Robyn must endure yet another cruel reality, fair or not. A lot of the blame for the family's downfall has been put squarely on her shoulders. She is no longer the popular new wife. She is the lady everyone blames as the destroyer of the Brown family. That crown is heavy, and it is looking like it is going to suffocate her. Just when it seems like their monogamous existence couldn't be stretched thinner, Cody makes a revelation that could blow it all to kingdom come. Let's dissect this moment, because it is one of the biggest reveals in the whole trailer. Number 1, Cody's tone. He delivers it casually, seemingly off the cuff. But don't be deceived, this is no casual thing. This is a targeted blow right to Robyn's sense of security. So what does it mean? Is Cody seriously contemplating another wife? Or is it a manipulation technique? A means of testing Robyn? Perhaps he is attempting to relive the old dynamic, where he was the prize women vied for. Maybe he is reminding her not to get too cozy as the only wife. Whatever the motivation, it is heartless. To tell a wife who is obviously already grappling with their new reality, something like that is nothing short of heartbreaking. And Robyn's expression tells it all. This is not the look on the face of a woman devoted to the ideals of polygamy. This is the expression of a woman who feels horribly betrayed. A woman who believes she had finally won, only to discover that the rules of the game have just been changed. This one conversation sets up the season's big conflict for Cody and Robyn. Is their marriage robust enough to be a monogamous relationship? Or was it always built on an illusion sustained only by the framework of plural marriage? Because Cody's words are ominous, he might already be searching for an exit strategy. And Robyn, she is afraid he'll use it. Chapter 4. Coyote Pass Showdown Faith, the final battleground. If the emotional core of the Brown family has flatlined, the economic body is still spasming, and the location of its final spasm. Coyote Pass. Coyote Pass is not acres of trees and dirt. It is the graveyard of every promise that was broken and every dream that was shattered the Browns ever sold each other and to audiences. Let's take a step back. In 2018, they purchased this vast Flagstaff property with big, shining dreams of a merged future. It was initially one huge family house. Then, it fragmented into a scheme to build 4 or 5 distinct houses. But for years, nothing has been built on that land. No foundations, no family compound, just vacant lots, piling up weeds, unpaid bills, and grievances. To Janelle, it is the cash she lost when she sold her Vegas house, an investment she never saw returned. To Christine, it was the final glimmer of hope for cohesiveness, until she understood it was never going to be. To the rest of them, it is a monument to a future that will never materialize. Now that the weddings are done, Coyote Pass is all that remains. The final fragment of the fractured kingdom, and everyone's clamoring for their share. Robyn is at the center of this conflict. As sole legal wife and still bound to Cody through insurance and paperwork, she is acting as gatekeeper. But here is the issue. Robyn's idea of fair is not anybody else's. Is fair Janelle getting the money she put in back, or is fair, in Robyn's universe, her and Cody as the last intact family unit getting the lion's share? Her refusal to compromise isn't about money, it is a call to war. She is holding the land hostage until her sense of justice is met. For Janelle, it is not emotional, it is business. She requires her share liquidated simple and straightforward, in order to gain her freedom and proceed. But Robyn, she is holding on to Coyote Pass as if it were the last fragment of her throne. This is what Janelle is talking about when she refers to it as the final showdown. It is no longer a family debate. It is a ruthless negotiation drenched in years of betrayal and resentment. The battle for Coyote Pass is not just about money. It is the autopsy of their empire that didn't work. And it is going to be ugly, explosive, and final. Cody's cliffhanger, the naughty comment when you think it can't get any more tense. Cody makes a bombshell so out there that the whole preview is left quivering in dismay. The quote, "naughty," said casually, thrown out with a smirk. But don't be fooled. There is no casualness to it. It is a live grenade. What is it? Is he implying making a behind the scenes deal with Janelle, betraying Robyn in the process? Is it connected to that mysterious new wife email, whispering of the return of polygamy? Or is it worse than that? Some wild scheme with the family's dwindling funds, filling his pockets at everyone else's loss? And then there is the laugh, that creepy, villainous laugh. It turns the moment from strange to spine, tingling. It is not the smile of a man making a joke. It is the laugh of a man coming apart, of a king who has lost his throne and is now dancing with anarchy. Kody Brown doesn't appear like a patriarch anymore. He appears like a loose cannon, willing to torch whatever remnants are left, just for the sake of feeling strong once more. And Season 20 is going to give us a good idea of how much harm he can still inflict. Chapter 5. What to watch for Faye, your official Season 20 roadmap. We've picked apart the apologies, the heartbreaks, the betrayals, and the cracks that are emerging within Cody and Robyn's monogamous castle. But what are the can't-miss storylines you've got to have your eyes glued to this season? Number 1, Meri's dating life. It is going to be awkward, it is going to be raw, and it is going to reveal an entirely new aspect of her. And it's shaping up to be a captivating journey of a woman in her 50s, rediscovering both love and life. Second, Janelle's push for financial freedom. Her quest for a spiritual divorce, and more crucially, her battle to untangle herself from the mess of Coyote Pass, will stand as one of the season's most high-stakes struggles. We're all rooting for you, Janelle. Third, the changing Christine-Faye-Janelle dynamic. The preview promises glimmers of jealousy from Christine as her children move closer to Janelle. Is this the first apparent crack in the United Ex-Wives coalition? A new conflict that is worth watching. Fourth, the inevitable war over Coyote Pass. That is the big one. The final battleground where years of resentment and unresolved anger get physical. Look for legal threats, bitter accusations, and lots of tears. And finally, the Cody and Robyn dilemma. Will their relationship crack under the pressure of monogamy? Or maybe the biggest hanging question of all, is Kody Brown set to seek out a fifth wife? Season 20 is shaping up to be the most turbulent, metamorphic, and explosive season of Sister Wives ever. It is not only the close of an era, but also the uncertain start of 5 totally different ones. Circle your calendars, Sister Wives Season 20 comes Sunday, the 28th of September, only on TLC. And you know we'll be here, step by step, breaking down every moment for you. We began this in-depth exploration by posing this question: what happens when a family dynasty finally disintegrates? This season has the potential to provide the long-sought resolution. But one eerie question still remains. Can a family so thoroughly torn asunder by dissension ever really get on with their lives? So what do you think? What is your bravest prediction for Season 20? What is the arc you are most stoked, or perhaps most anxious, to see play out? Leave all your theories, hot takes, and breakdowns in the comments. Let's get this discussion started. Thanks for hanging with me on this massive deep dive. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you are new here. I am Amy, and this is Reality Recap, and I'll catch you back here for the premiere breakdown.